Hello everybody, my name is Punarvas Jaikumar. I am a chartered accountant, passionate trainer. I have trained over 15,000 CA students in a career spanning of over 10 years. I am extremely excited and fortunate to be partnering with an academy for CA Foundation, and I'll be handling business laws and BCR paper. So my dear friends, if you want any sort of updates, anything for that matter, I would strongly suggest you right now go and download the Unacademy app. Just go to Play Store, just type Unacademy and you will get Unacademy learning app and you can just install the same. And if you want any kind of updates, notes, tips, audio tips, video tips, etc., please join my exclusive Unacademy Law channel. It's called PJ Law. Go to t.me/PJ Law and it'll take you right to my channel and you can enjoy important notes, audio clips, video clips, etc. And guys, we also have our exclusive CA Foundation English channel where all the educators and learners come together. This is exclusive English channel, so please join our Telegram channel CA Foundation English as well. My dear friends, an exciting announcement. We have already started the CA Warrior batch. This is a fast track batch for CA Foundation December 21 examination. It is going to be exclusively in English. We have already started. Paper 2 will be handled by me, Punarvas Jaikumar, and the quant portion will be handled by my very good friend and a co-educator, CA Neeraj Mahajan sir. You're gonna love his classes. So we will cover very all important topics, and in law we'll cover everything exhaustively, and BCR will do a quick revision. PDF notes will be shared. So as far as law is concerned, it's gonna be from August 18 to maybe, since now exam has been postponed to December, we'll also have it in the October first week or something. And exhaustive analysis of paper number 2. Live classes, guys. It's not recorded. Live classes. There will be quizzes, there will be doubt solving sessions, and unlimited access. You can watch it anytime, anywhere apart from live. I will also discuss the presentation techniques. I'll also give you revision notes, Q&A notes, and specially curated handcrafted color charts for one day before the exam revision. It is going to be almost 60 plus hours. Sir, I also want to check some demo classes if you feel like that. Guys, these classes are on Unacademy Plus. So unless you have a subscription of Unacademy Plus or Unacademy Iconic, you cannot access these classes. Alright. However, if you want some other revision classes, free classes, if you want free sessions, please download the Unacademy app. Go to the special classes section. Get access to our free special classes by various amazing educators, and you will also earn credits while you watch them. So please check out the free special classes option. On that note, my dear friends, let us begin today's session. So guys, what are you waiting for? Step number 1, go to Unacademy Learning app. Step number 2, hit install. That's it. That's all you need to do. And go to CA Foundation Plus and check out these two subscription plans, Plus and Iconic. I told you the difference. My personal suggestion would be go with the 24 months plan. Why? I'll tell you why. Because with the Iconic subscription, you will get 12 months. There is a combo, guys, CA Foundation and Intermediate. 12 months combo, 24 months combo. If you take the 24 months combo, the good thing is you'll also get time to study intermediate also. So we have the CA Foundation and Inter combo both in Plus as well as Iconic. And dear friends, there is something called as Unacademy Combat Scholarship Test every Sunday at 12 p.m. Participate in the quiz, and if you get good results, if your rank is 1 to 3, then 4 to 10, 11 to 50 and 51 to 200, amazing scholarships. You're getting 50% off, 25% off. Enroll now. The code would be PJ Sir Law. And dear friends, if you go to my channel on Unacademy, I'll tell you more about it. Before that, as I told you, limited time offer. If you buy for 12 months, you'll get 2 months free. Same for both the Iconic and the Plus subscription. But I would request you go for the 24 months plan, because you'll get not only foundation but also time to finish your CA Inter. Please guys, follow me on unacademy.com/Punarvas Jaikumar. Please do that. Please follow me. it will help me also, and you obviously can check out all the special classes that I have released. So guys, in the previous concept capsule series, we were discussing the introduction to Companies Act. In the current concept capsule series, my dear friends, we are going to go ahead and understand the definition of the word company. So if you see the act and everything I'm doing from the institute material, because it becomes very easy for you to understand and follow. So the act defines the company bit differently. 2 clause 20. Generally, as we have already discussed, this is called section number 2, and this will be called as a clause. 2 clause 20 of the Companies Act defines the term company. Company means, when I use the word means, it's an exhaustive definition. Company means a company incorporated under this act or under any previous company law, as we have seen. Incorporated. So my dear friends, it has to be registered. In Indian Partnership Act, we saw that it had to be registered with somebody called as a registrar of firms. Here, companies have to be registered with a person called as the registrar of companies. He will be working with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA. Under that ministry, it will be working. The person will be working. There are multiple ROC offices across India, and there are regional offices as well, and the ROC's boss is generally called as a regional director. So that's how it works, right? Under the act or the previous company law, as shall we progress, we will understand all these things. So basically, my dear friends, what are the features of company? As we see, first of all, separate legal entity. In the previous concept capsule, we saw Lee versus Lee Air Farming. We'll come to the other things later. Perpetual succession. Members may come, members may go, but the company will go on forever. The only way to end the company, would be the winding up. Until then, it will go on and on and on. It's called a perpetual succession, continuous succession. Third, limited liability. Of course, the liability of the members there is limited only to the extent of what? Only to the extent of unpaid share capital. Right? The liability of the members is limited only to the extent of the unpaid share capital. Artificial juridical person. So the company can act through human agency only, means humans are needed to run the show. That is why we have somebody called as the board of directors, and that's why for all the decisions etc. to be taken with respect to how to appoint the board, we have the shareholders. Whereas ultimate day-to-day running of the operations of the company, who will take care? It will be taken care by the human agency. Then a human agency means they'll appoint agents. Are board of directors agents of the company? Yes. So it will be taken care by the board of directors. Company can contract in its name, it can sue in its name and be sued in its own name. That's why. So once the members or the shareholders start the company, the moment the company is registered, there is some sort of a veil that comes in front of it. Mind you, I'm talking about a veil, not a wall. Correct? Veil is like dupatta, right? You wear a dupatta, right? So it is, of course, doesn't mean that it will protect the person. It is just a veil. It means that the members are there behind it. The directors are hiding behind it. And it is a protective veil. And that veil is called as a corporate veil. Means for all actions of the persons behind the show. For all actions of the persons behind the show, who will be responsible? The company will be responsible. You can sue in the name of the company. You can be sued in the name of the company. So the company would be responsible for everything. That is the concept of corporate veil theory. Not wall, corporate veil. So the company can act purely through human agency only. Company can contract, company can sue, company can be sued in its own name. These are all the various points that they have clearly told in this particular thing. So yes, separate legal entity. What does it say? You check it out. There are distinctive features between different forms of organizations, and the most striking feature is of this organization. For example, in a partnership firm, my dear friends, if you have remember the partnership discussion that we had, There is no difference between the partnership firm and the partners. Partners are the same as partnership firm. It is just the name given to the partnership. That's it. Whereas in company, the moment you start a company, that becomes a separate legal entity. So there was one person called as Solomon. So Solomon had a shoe business. Solomon sold that shoe business by creating a company called Solomon and Company. In that, Solomon was the director. Solomon's wife was the director. Solomon's children were the directors. So guys, actually it was a family owned business only. The sole proprietorship Solomon sold his entire business to one more company called Solomon and Company. Now since we know Solomon is a separate and company separate legal entity, Solomon and Company paid, they have to give consideration no, for selling. In Contract Act we have seen, for every action there has to be a consideration. What is the consideration that Solomon and Company gave? Solomon and Company gave consideration as follows. First one, let us say, I'm just giving you some random figures. They gave cash of, let's say, 10,000 rupees. The figures here are very random. Just understand the concept. Okay. Then Solomon and Company also issued shares to Solomon to the tune of 20,000. Solomon and Company also issued debentures. Because he has sold it, they have taken it as a loan and they have issued debentures worth, let's say, 15,000 rupees. So friends, the total consideration was 45,000 rupees. Just for your example, I am telling. Figures may vary, but concept matters the most. In the meantime, Solomon and Company had also taken some money from the creditors. Creditors had paid money to whom? Solomon and Company. They had paid some money. Now, Solomon and Company went out of business. Means what? Loss. It became a loss-making company, unfortunately. So, Solomon and Company became a loss-making entity, loss-making venture. Nothing can be done about it, unfortunately. Heavy losses. No choice. Heavy losses. Nothing could be done. Now I have to do something about it. It's a loss-making venture it has become. I have to ensure that something worthwhile is done. What do we do? Once it went out of business, I had to sell off all the assets, right? So Solomon sold and Company sold all the assets of the company. Let's say the creditors, unsecured creditors, mind you, these were unsecured creditors. They had not taken any security, whereas these debentures are generally secured. One part was secured debentures, these are called unsecured creditors. Now, Solomon and Company sold the business. Now, no choice. He sold all the assets and recovered, let us say, he recovered some 12,000 rupees. Now, tell me, this 12,000 should go to the outsiders or it should go to the insider, Solomon? Technically, unsecured creditors are outsiders. It should ideally go to outsiders. But Solomon and Company gave this 12,000 rupees to Solomon only, because Solomon was a secured debenture holder. So out of 12k out of 15k they repaid. The outsiders obviously could not take this. They said, boss, Solomon is a director also. Solomon is a shareholder also here. Solomon is an owner. Solomon is a secured creditor. Solomon is everybody. There is Actually, no difference between Solomon and Company. Because of his bad business sense, the company went down. Because of his bad business sense, company went down. So when the company goes down, why should I pay him amount? Am I a fool? Is what they said. Solomon said that, boss, I am in the capacity of a director, I am not taking any money. In the capacity of a shareholder, I am not taking any money, but I am taking money in the capacity of a secured debenture holder. As a secured debenture holder, I should get my money. As a secured debenture holder, I should get my money. So please give me this. As a secured debenture holder, please give me this. This went to court, and the court decided this concept of separate legal entity. The court decided this concept of separate legal entity, and they said Solomon is different and Solomon and Company is different. Solomon is different and Solomon and Company is different. There is no relationship between the two, and hence in this landmark judgment of Solomon versus Solomon, the concept of separate legal entity came into force. They said, even if you are an unsecured creditor, I am sorry, you will not get any money, because the secured creditor will get the first money. Even though the secured creditor happens to be the director of the company, owner of the company, anything of the company, since he is a secured creditor, he will stand in a different pedestal. He will stand in a different position, and that position is the position of a secured creditor. This was the case law of Solomon versus Solomon. Landmark judgment. So if you see the notes, if you see the institute material, check it out. Where a company is registered, it is clothed with a legal personality, which means it has a corporate veil. It comes to have almost the same rights and powers as a human being. Its existence is distinct and separate from that of the members. Company can own property in its own name, can have bank account in its own name, raise loans in its own name, incur liability in its own name, enter into contract in its own name, anything they can do. Person which is different from subscribers to memorandums, personality distinct and separate from personality of those who compose it. Subscribers to memorandum are generally called as these shareholders. Initially shareholders, they will sign a document called memorandum. I'll explain that later in the further concept capsules. They are trying to tell it is different from the shareholder. Shareholder may do anything, but the moment a company is formed, it's a separate legal entity. Even the members can contract with the company, acquire right against it. For the debts of the company, only the creditors can sue and not the members. Right? So that was the concept of Solomon versus Solomon. So here it's given. In the corporate veil theory, they have given here. Solomon versus Solomon laid down the foundation of the concept of corporate veil or independent corporate personality. So this was the decision. So unsecured creditors to the tune of $7,000 pounds contended that Solomon could not be treated as a secured creditor in respect of the debentures held by him, as he was the managing director of the one-man company, which was not different from Solomon, and the cloak of the company was a mere sham. They said that corporate veil was a mere sham. In this case, they said no. The company is at law a different person altogether from the subscribers, and though it may be that after incorporation, the business is precisely the same as it was before. It's the same. Earlier also Solomon was doing it as a sole proprietorship, now he is doing it as a company. And the same persons are managers and the same hands receive the profits. The company is not in law the agent of the subscribers or trustees for them. Nor are the subscribers members liable in any shape or form except to the extent and in the manner provided in the Act. So they said company is different and the individual is different. Thus this case clearly established that company has its own existence, and as a result shareholder cannot be held liable for the acts of the company, even though he holds virtually the entire share capital. So guys, Even if he holds the entire share capital, whatever said and done, ultimately, even if he holds everything, he is still different from the others. Even though he holds virtually the entire share capital, the whole law of corporation is in fact based on this theory of separate corporate entity. So it is called as a separate legal entity concept. So can this veil of incorporation be pierced? Means what? Can it be set aside? Can it be disregarded? So though there is a corporate veil in front, can I say no, there is nothing in front of me? And can I make the persons behind liable? The answer is yes. We'll see that portion later. That portion later. So now we are discussing the features of the company as such. So first is the separate legal entity. Perpetual succession. Companies may come, companies may go. Companies, how will they go? By winding up. Companies, how will they come? By incorporation. That's fine. But members in a company may come, members in a company may go, but that particular company will go on forever unless and until it is wound up. Until winding up, a company will go on forever. Those who started the company need not be there in the company at all, but the company will move on. The shareholders may move on to other companies, I don't care. Like today I may invest in Reliance, tomorrow I may sell it off and invest somewhere else, right? It can come, it can go, but the company will go on and on and on is the question of perpetual succession. So, that's what perpetual succession means, guys. Members may come, members may go, but the company will go on and on and on forever. Company will never change, right? Next. Limited liability. Obviously there are various types of companies called company limited by shares, limited by limited by guarantee and all that, we'll see that. But basically a shareholder's liability is limited only to the extent of the unpaid share capital. That's it. Whatever he has not paid, only to that extent he has to pay at the end of the day, an artificial person. So there was one more case law which spoke about the moment, for example, guys, if I invest 20,000 in Reliance and Reliance uses that entire money to buy one chair, that's all it will get from 20,000 rupees. One chair they'll buy. Is it my chair or is it Reliance's chair? What do you think? It cannot be my chair, it is Reliance's chair. So that particular case was discussed here, Macora versus Northern Assurance Company Limited. Macora versus Northern Assurance Company Limited. So guys, if you remember, we were writing the case laws, right, in CA Foundation cases. We need to continue now. We are done till here. Philip versus Brooks. 14 is Solomon versus Solomon and Company. What did they say in Solomon versus Solomon? Separate legal entity concept. Separate legal entity concept. Solomon versus Solomon and Company. Solomon versus Solomon and Company, separate legal entity concept. Then this one, guys, Macora versus Northern Assurance Company Limited. In the previous videos, I have already discussed the various important cases when I did the revision. There is a revision video. If you see, in that we have discussed the previous cases that we discussed. All these cases we have discussed. These are the cases that we need to remember in the exam for sure. I still have to write the partnership one, KD comma, that also will write down. But yeah, we'll start off with. So basically, this has contract act all cases. Then I have to write now we are writing the company act cases, few. And of course, a couple of cases in partnership act, 2-3 cases in sale of goods and LLP, it's not there. So basically roughly I can say around 20-25 maximum is what we need to remember, my dear friends. So guys, in Mekara versus Northern Assurance, Mekara M was the holder of nearly all except one shares of a timber company. So he had a timber company. What is timber? Wood. Timber is wood. When you cut the wood, no, it is called timber. So timber is generally used to sell to various people like sandalwood, teak wood, rosewood for furniture. That's called timber. Now it was in his own name. Fine. He started a timber company. He was also a major creator of the company. Means what? He had pumped in money also. This guy called Mekara. He had all the shares of the company except one share. One share was held by his wife or somebody. Basically, it was his own company, guys. He insured the company's timber in his own name. Stupid fellow. He should have taken the insurance in the name of the company. No, what did he do? He took it in his own name. The timber was lost in a fire. Timber unfortunately got lost in one fire, major fire. M claimed insurance compensation. The insurance company said you will not get any compensation because you took it in your own name. You didn't take in your company's name. Company is different, you are different. He said, no, I am the same only, I am the same. Then they said, bro, Solomon versus Solomon. You are different, company is different. You do not even have interest in this. Interest means you are not related in this entire deal itself. You are an outside party. You don't have any legal interest. You don't have any legal right. You don't have any legal remedy. You don't have any equitable interest. That's called equitable. So this particular thing spoke about property of the company. And a director or shareholder has no legal / equitable / insurable interest. It means the director or shareholder has no personal interest in the entire deal. It should have been done in the name of the company. You do in your own name stupidly, then later you claim, insurance. That timber caught fire and you went to the fire insurance company. Fire insurance company says, sir, but it is in the name of the company. The timber company is in the name of the company. Yes, sir. But the insurance is in your name. Yes, sir. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter at all. Right? So perpetual succession, you see, members may die or change, but the company goes on till it is wound up. Shares of the company may change hands indefinitely, but that does not affect the existence of the company. Since the company is an artificial person, law alone can bring an end to its life.
There are many companies like Tata's, Birla's, Mafatla's are there for over 100 years, only due to the fact that company has perpetual existence. There was a company which has 7 members and all of them died in an aircraft. Despite that, company will move ahead because you have to appoint new members immediately. New members should become shareholders. All that is there. Limited liability. The debts of the company do not become the debts of the shareholders. The liability of the members is limited only to the extent of the nominal value of shares held by them. Nominal value is the face value. And only to the extent of the unpaid face value. Only to the extent of the unpaid face value. In no case can the shareholders be asked to pay anything more than the unpaid value of their shares. In case a company limited by guarantee, the members are liable only to the extent of the amount guaranteed by them, and that too only when the company goes into liquidation. There's one more company called company limited by guarantee. Here, what is the liability, guys? Only the extent of the amount guaranteed by them. So they will say, if the company goes for winding up, I will pay 10,000. One more shareholder will say, if the company goes for winding up, I will pay 45,000. One more shareholder, member will say, if this company is going down, I will pay 1 lakh rupees. So only if the company goes into liquidation, whatever amount he guarantees, the member guarantees, that is called company limited by guarantee. It's a different other form of company. However, if it's an unlimited company, there are unlimited companies also where the liability is unlimited. Means what? Here you have a personal liability. There are very few, only in the near thousands, 1 or 2,000, that's it. Or maybe in the hundreds, that's it. Unlimited companies in India. No one would want to have an unlimited company and have unlimited liability. So only in these closely held family businesses they can have this. Apart from that, in big companies, for example, in listed companies, you cannot have any unlimited company as such, which is listed in the stock exchange. Artificial person, we have seen, can act only through directors. It's called an artificial person. Basically, it can do everything which a natural person can do, except a company cannot be sent to jail. A company cannot marry. A company cannot practice a profession. It is a legal person in what way? Through agents. Who are the agents? Board of directors. If anything happens, can the directors be put to jail? Yes. For example, Vijay Mallya. What happened? Kingfisher did something. Correct? Was he a part of Kingfisher? Yes. So can I lift the corporate veil? Can I say, there is no difference between you, Mr. Vijay Mallya, and Kingfisher, so that's why I put you to jail? Yes. There are instances where that entire corporate veil that I have, corporate veil, that will be lifted. There are various instances or where your corporate veil will be lifted to something else. This is called as the artificial legal person concept. Artificial legal person concept. As the company is an artificial person, it can act only through some human agency, that is the directors. Common seal. So guys, this concept, there was an earlier seal, correct? So it's the official signature of the company which is affixed by the officer. You would have seen the seal, no? Company seal. It has here company seal. That is the official signature of the company. This was mandatory before. It is a seal used by the company as a symbol of incorporation. Now this seal is no longer needed as per the Companies Amendment Act 2015. Common seal is a relic of the medieval times. Olden days, one seal used to be affixed, guys. The earlier queen, etc., used to have this, seal of the queen. There is no signature, only the seal itself is there. Nowadays, everything is done via digital signature. When you have digital signature, what is the point of having any seal, etc.? Correct? Everything is done through DSC now. Authorization is signed by the directors through something called as digital signature certificate. You will have a DSC. A director should have a digital signature. So his signature need not be his actual sign at all. Only the digital signature is enough. All that you learn in CA Inter. So corporate veil, my dear friends, is a legal concept whereby the company is identified separately from the members of the company through a veil. A veil of incorporation will come right in front of them. A veil of incorporation will come right in front of them. Which means the directors can do whatever they want, but when anybody wants to sue the directors, the veil will come right in front of them. The term corporate veil refers to the concept that the members of the company are shielded from liability connected to the company's accounts. So that is the corporate veil theory. So in this concept capsule, we spoke about the features of the company: separate legal entity, perpetual succession, limited liability, artificial juridical person. In the next concept capsule, we will now dive into which one? Corporate veil theory.
So guys, as I told you, without fail, please follow me on unacademy.com/Punarvas Jaikumar. If you don't know what to do, go to any of my videos and check out the link here. Punarvas Jaikumar sir's Unacademy profile. Once you click on that, it will take you here where you will see all my followers. You please follow me and you will see my special classes. Free classes. To enter the class, you just need to put the code PJ Sir Law. If you want a discount, you have to put the code PJ Sir Law. If you want this, you have to just put the code PJ Sir Law. Very, very, very simple, my dear friends. Extremely simple. And also, if you see here, any combo subscription or intermediate plus, and we have the iconic for CA Foundation and intermediate, all you need to do is just pick a plan. And once you say pick a plan, in this referral code, all you need to do is PJ Sir Law and magic. You will get 10% off. So this is all you need to do, my dear friends. Very, very simple. Thank you so much for watching this video, my dear friends. Please, please, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon, because any important video released by me or any of the educators on this CA Foundation and Academy English channel, you will get a notification. Please like this video, share with among your friends, and also please leave your comments in the comment section. If you want to watch any special class of mine on the Unacademy platform, the code is PJ Sir Law. If you want to buy any product, the code is PJ Sir Law to get a 10% discount. Please download the Unacademy Learners app, and in the special class you can also get all the notes as well. You can download. On that note, see you until next time, my dear friends. Love you all. Bye, my CA warriors. Cheers.